How to stay keto for Halloween. 6 tips. That's what we have for you.
So we've got 6 tips on how do you stay keto over Halloween. So historically, Halloween has been like the end of my diet for the year. And I say diet as the choice of whatever that my lifestyle dietary habits, right? I'm using that as a blanket word. So historically, Halloween has ruined it, especially once the kids came along and we had all this candy come home, you know, after this huge haul and sit around the house forever. I would stay strong for maybe a week and then eventually just like dive into all this leftover candy or succumb at work or with, you know, the potluck seemed to pick up. So how can you stay keto and stay true to your goals over Halloween? We've got 6 awesome tips to talk through.
So number 1 is to plan ahead and don't walk into any situation like overly hungry. So that could be, I'm coming home from work and I know my kids have a bunch of Halloween candy just lying around. That's a situation where you might, you know, get into trouble. Or it's Halloween night and I have a ton of candy or stuff to give out and I decided that I was going to do OMAD today and I'm just hungry and it's just really easy and it's just there to eat. So you've got to think about all of the different things or all the different situations that could happen at this time of year, and this really goes through Halloween, through Thanksgiving, through Christmas, where you don't want to intentionally put yourself at a disadvantage. You know, you don't want to go to the, you know, just like going to the grocery store hungry leads to like some of the worst purchasing decisions of your life. Walking into these situations where you know there's going to be a lot of sugar and candy and things that you enjoy can be just as bad.
Yeah. So number 2 is learn to bake keto and create keto treats you can share with family, at potlucks, at work parties, wherever that's happening. Just learn how to bake. So we've got my Keto Cupcake Cookbook that's out. Those cupcakes are a crowd pleaser. Jeremy took them to his work when I was testing them, and not a one spit them out, did they?
No, and I, you know, I was going to say try and trick people, right? Like, see what you can get away with, right? See what you can get away with giving people
a trick and a treat.
But if they're going to have like 3 or 4, you might want to warn them, like, hey, if you've never had erythritol before, don't eat these all at once.
Yeah. So learning to bake. There's tons of free recipes here on our YouTube channel, things that we love that we've created. So creating keto treats to share. You know, it can help people kind of get on board with your lifestyle and they're like, oh, why would you deprive yourself? Well, I'm not. Like, taste this. Like, I'm not depriving myself. 3, buy some keto snacks you don't normally eat. So we'll put a link in the comments here as to our page, which some of our favorites, but just off the top of my head, those super fat cookies that you ate all of before I even got to the back, like they were gone before I even got to try some of the flavors. Yeah. They're crunchy. So that like a crunchy cookie. So they pair really well with the Real Good Foods ice cream, which is our favorite keto-friendly ice cream on the market. That Real Good Foods ice cream you do have to order. I've not seen it in any grocery stores. Our second favorite, I like the Enlightened Mint Chip.
Yeah, and this is a great time of year to get ice cream delivered because it's not so hot outside that you're going to have to like be concerned about the delivery. But they do a great job of packaging it with dry ice, and it's always gotten to us in perfect condition. And
then I had to mention the perfect keto cookies. They had the peanut butter and the chocolate.
Yeah.
He also ate most of those before I got more than like 1 package.
I might be a cookie monster.
He might be a cookie monster. So, but having those things around for when the craving hits, it's so much better to eat a packaged food. Okay, I know that I talk a lot about avoiding packaged foods and the optimal keto diet, but you guys, it is so much better to have a cookie that's keto friendly or a bar that's keto friendly that's satisfying than it is to go off the deep end, dive into the bag of candy, and wake up 6 months later having gained the weight back or in worse health. So these are strategies you can use to avoid the cheat.
So what did you just hit? Number 4?
You're on number 4.
Okay. So get rid of candy that tempts you. Like maybe some candy just doesn't appeal to you. Like for Tara, like she could care less about candy corn. But for me, I love candy corn. So for me, I would need to get that out of the house. You know, it's that specific thing, this specific time of year that is triggers me.
So buy the stuff you don't like to hand out to the kids. When your kids come home, make sure that that stuff gets out of the house. Your favorite things. Like, don't hide it. Don't hoard it somewhere. Stash it just in case you want to eat it. Don't worry. They're not going to run out in the world. If you decide to go off intentionally, make yourself have to do the extra steps. Say, okay, I really do want that Snickers. Now you have to go to the store and buy it. That's a lot of steps you probably don't want to do. And that's a deterrent to cheating, is not having it in the house. So get that stuff out. Give it to the neighbor kids. Whatever you need to do to get rid of it. That's your kid's favorite candy? Fine. Have them eat it all, right? Like, you have to eat all that candy first. Whatever your strategy is, not having that around will get rid of the temptation in your brain. Because otherwise, knowing that candy in the house is a cue. That cue is going to trigger you thinking about the candy nonstop, which will eventually possibly lead to you eating the candy. So let's just get rid of that by getting rid of those favorite things. Get rid of them out of your house.
Number 5.
So number 5 is reconnecting with your commitment statement. A lot of people call this your why. And you probably already know that getting to a certain weight isn't a strong enough commitment statement. Fitting into a certain pair of jeans isn't a strong enough commitment statement because life is hard. Obstacles will happen. And those things just aren't strong enough to prevent us from going back into the old habit loops. Those habit loops, those neural networks around them are strong. Our brain is incredibly powerful, and it is difficult to change behavior. So having a deep commitment statement that really resonates with you and writing that out every single day will make it easier to implement behavior change. And let's face it, not eating a bunch of junk food on Halloween or around Halloween is behavior change. Right? We all grew up, most of us grew up, surrounded by sugar and candy all through the holidays. So it is habit loop we have to reprogram. So if you don't have that commitment statement, think back for a moment about why you started keto. Think back for a moment about how you felt in your body before you started. The inflammation, the pain, maybe you had headaches, aches and pains, felt puffy all the time, didn't feel good inside your own skin. Think back to that and try to picture it very vividly. And then think about going back to that. Think about, do I have the time and energy to start over right now? And work on developing that commitment statement so it's deeper and more powerful and more meaningful. It doesn't have to be perfect on day one. Just keep refining it over time.
All right, number 6 is finding a support partner. Now, this is probably one of the most powerful things that you can do that is external to you, right? Because we all know that accountability is something that we need. We just don't always like it, right?
Yeah.
But, being here on the channel, on the show with us tonight is one of those things, right? It's giving us some accountability. It's giving you some accountability. You show up. When we do our coaching calls every week, we have accountability with the people that are on our in our group, and they have some accountability with us. But it can be as simple as, especially this time of year, having your child be accountable to you or being your accountability partner, because no one in your life like a child will hold your feet to the fire.
You're not supposed to have that. Yeah.
So, and get somebody that you think is a little bit of a jerk, maybe even, because
who's going to call you out, who's not going to be the yes man. Well, if you want that, just have it. That's who you don't want as your accountability partner.
And I'm not a great accountability partner to Tara all the time because my heart wants to give her exactly everything she wants.
It's true.
So when she wants something, I'm like, yeah, you should totally have that. I'm not the right accountability partner for my spouse, and I know that, right? So she needs accountability from somebody besides me. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about it. It's not the person that is going to tell you that they love you all the time and they wear these rose-colored glasses for you and they just want to make you feel good, because that's not the person who's going to get you through the tough times when it comes to this.
Yeah. So by planning ahead, by having keto treats that you make, by having packaged keto treats on hand for those moments, weak moments, or in your freezer, by getting rid of the candy that tempts you, reconnecting with your commitment statement, and getting an accountability partner, all these things, when you do them together, or even 2, 3, or 4 of them, can help you get through the Halloween and then through the rest of the holidays without going off your keto diet unintentionally. So we hope that that was very helpful, and we shared some strategies. If you have other strategies or ideas, drop those in the comments below, and we'll be happy to share those as we add on to this topic.
All right.